here. Let's see. Okay, so you guys are saying Disneyland in Cali. You know what? I've never been to Disneyland in Cali. I haven't even been to that one. Me and my kids, we just went to the one in Orlando for my daughter's 14th birthday. And do you know when we went, man, like those kids was like, it's boring. I'm like, what? This is Disney World. They're like, we're bored. We're ready to go. We just want to go back to the hotel and go swimming. I'm like, nah, we staying. We gonna find something to do. But they were not impressed. I'm like, okay, you guys are a mess right now. So Zakia says Montego Bay, Jamaica. Okay, Zakia. Alita says she's going to Ohio and Detroit. Zakia says she's going to celebrate the end of tax season by going to a Rio resort. Okay, Zakia. Angie says she's going to visit your grandbabies. Rolanda says Puerto Vallarta. Where is that at, Rolanda? Where is Puerto
Vallarta?
Where is that?
In the Caribbean. My husband has already scheduled it. I just know I'm leaving.
Yes, I love that. Jasmine says Houston next month, Cabo in June. Yes. Rika says I came from Orlando and I agree it's boring. Yes, they always took us at year-end trip. Yeah, the kids shocked me. I was like, you guys are a mess. They got more fun playing in the swimming pool at the resort than they did at Disney World. And then while we were there, we got rained out. So I was a little bummed. We got rained out because it was really rainy and stormy. Zakia says they are not the first kids to not like it. My nephews are the same, and they did this on the pool. Right. So we did go to Disney. Also has like a tropical splash island thing that we went to, and they did enjoy that. So they had fun at some point. All right, guys. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you guys. Let me go ahead and pull up my screen for you here. Okay. And let me share my screen. Okay. All right, guys. So on today's training, we are going to be talking about millionaire productivity. Okay. I'm excited to talk about this. Okay. So you guys know probably, I think I've been doing the accountability training for maybe a month now. Yeah. So we're just now rounding out our kind of like our first month of the accountability coaching. So I started this accountability coaching where I say, hey, if you need some hand-holding support, go ahead and consider working with me in a closer capacity, right? This is for people that are like, I kind of know what I need to do, right? You're already in tax and accounting, six-figure accelerator. You already understand the marketing strategies, but you just need a little bit more hand-holding, right? Hand-holding support. So I launched this accountability training just to test it out. I was like, I want to see, what the results are going to be if I personally hold people's hands, right, in the process and kind of give them more hand-holding and support, right? And so after launching it, what I found was that people still, there were still some blocks with being able to complete their tasks, right, every single week. So how accountability training works, I say, hey, here's what you need to work on. And then next week, I'll check in with you, right? And we look to see, okay, did you complete those items, right, on your Trello board? And what I found is that it's not a matter of not knowing what to do at this point. It's really about how do you maximize your time? How do you become more productive? How do you get the things that you need to get done? How do you actually complete them, right? And listen, everybody has this issue. I still have this issue on how can I truly be more productive? How can I get more done? So I want to go over some factors that I think is going to help not only you guys, but myself, right? Because we are all in the same boat. How do we get more done? How do we make sure that the things that we said that we wanted to do, that Angie said, don't put me on blast. No, Angie, I'm not calling out no names, okay? I'm not calling out no names. Listen, I suffer with this, okay? I suffer with being productive and actually getting things done. So let's talk about this, okay? So first, productivity as you guys know, it is really the key to success. And shout out to J-Lo, right? She is one of my inspo queens, right? I had to Google a picture of her on a jet. I was like, J-Lo on a jet. And one of these pictures came up and I swiped it. The reason why productivity is crucial to success is because in order for us to hit our goals, obviously there are very important things that we have to do in order to get the results that we want. You agree? Now, unfortunately, it's difficult to do that, right? It's really difficult to stay on task. There are so many distractions and so many different ways that we could be pulled from the thing that we're doing that sometimes we don't get the thing that we said we wanted to do completed, right? We don't even start on the thing, right? How many of you guys have been there, right? I need you to make sure that you not entertain me, engage with me on tonight's training, right? I want you guys to make sure that you guys are my people, right? You guys are my people. Now, in order for us to solve this problem about becoming more productive, we must first understand why we aren't productive to begin with, right? Now, there are very specific reasons why we cannot do the things that we want to do, complete the things that we need to complete, right? And once you understand what's holding you back, I firmly believe that you're going to be able to push through and get over that hump. Okay. So Zakiya says, yes, I have bursts of energy and get things done, but not consistent. Same with me, Zakiya. Same way. I'll have these bursts of like just doing everything, right? I'll do in one day what was taking me a month to do, right? And then it's like poof, it's gone. Whatever that energy was, it'll leave me for weeks and I'll be on a struggle bus just to get a few tasks done, right? So I actually want to talk about that. That's a really good point, Zakiya. So here's culprit number one, right? I did some research and, I was pulling up different studies and articles about productivity. And apparently this is a huge worldwide problem, right? Not just for us, but for most people staying productive. Now, technology, what they found, what studies have shown is that technology has been a huge killer to our productivity, right? A huge killer to our productivity. In today's modern societies, we are really blessed, right, to have technology, but the same technology that we are blessed with, the same technology that helps us to achieve our dreams quicker is the same technology that's a curse, right? It's the same technology that is distracting us every single day. So research shows that we're looking at things on social media, we're responding to text messages, we're receiving constant notification alerts, and that the average adult, you and I, we spend on average 11 hours a day interacting with media. Now, this is interesting, right? Because it didn't say social media. It says we spend 11 hours per day interacting with media. So what does that mean? It means you have your phone next to you and you're playing YouTube, right? You got a podcast on, you got a TV show on, right? You got the radio on. You might have your actual TV playing in the background. But a total of 11 hours we spend on media. Who here can confirm that? Type of one in the chat if you can confirm if that's you. Now, I'll tell you, I have the iPhone analytics, and they tell me I average 13 hours a day. I was like, oh, Lord. But let me tell you what I'm doing, guys, right? Like when I was creating this PowerPoint, I was listening to one of my favorite preachers, right? Earlier when I was working, I had a show playing in the background. So my phone doesn't know I'm actually working while I got my phone on, but all it's tracking is that, she has her phone on 13 hours, like literally from sun up to sundown, my phone is on, but it's playing something in the background, right? I might be listening to a book. I might be listening to a podcast, but let me tell you, and I'll be honest, could I be more productive if that stuff wasn't playing in the background? Could we probably potentially be more productive if the stuff wasn't playing in the background? Yes, because it'd be something good that the preacher's saying, and I got to pull up my phone because I got to see how they move in their face, and I get into it, and I'm like, yes, right? I'm shouting with the phone, right? Or I might be watching a show, and it's a part that's coming up that I like, and I'm looking at my phone, right? So yes, it's still a distraction, even if you think that you're multitasking, right? Even if you think that you are still doing work and you're having this on. I have found, especially when I'm on an airplane, For some reason, when I'm on an airplane, I get all the work done. It's crazy. As soon as I sit down and I get comfortable, and of course we take off and we're like cruising in the air after all of the anxiety goes away, it's like I get all of my best ideas while I am traveling, right? And it's the reason because there's no distractions. There's nothing, popping into my brain. I'm not constantly consuming my mind with other information. And so what I'm going to start to do is try to put my phone up, period. Not even have the podcast playing, right? Not even be listening to my favorite show. And I want to track next week how much more productive I am by not even listening to my phone while I'm working throughout the day. Now, it says of the 11 hours that we are on our phone, we spend almost 3 hours just on social media. And I can confirm for me, that's true. I set my phone to kick me off social media at the 3-hour mark. And let me tell you, if they had an analytic tracker that told on me on how many times I dismissed that notification, right? Because what the iPhone does, it says you have used up your social media time, right? And it says, give me 15 minutes, right? Or it says close out application. And then the third option is something like ignore notification for the rest of the day. How many times do you think I hit ignore notification for the rest of the day, right? Because I don't want it to pop up again. I hit ignore and I go on and I continue consuming social media. So even with the little tricks that the iPhone has started to do, that Apple has started to do, we still bypass them, right? And we'll talk more about some tricks that you can do in a few. Alita says, do you know you are coming through twice? Hey guys, can you hear me okay? Is my volume okay? Is there an echo? Nora says, yes, it's okay. 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 So Alita, you might have another browser on. Okay. All right, so let's talk about culprit number 2. Culprit number 2 is what I call a lack of direction. Now, this is real, guys. It's real and it's fake. And I'll talk about why it's fake later. But it's real because sometimes the reason why we don't get something done is because we really don't know how to get it done, right? There are some goals that we have, and you're like, I don't even know where to begin on this goal. I don't even know where to start. And this is where our productivity starts to fall, is because now we're constantly thinking like, okay, should I start with this first? Do I go with this second? We don't have any true direction, right? So one of the things that you want to make sure if you want to increase your productivity is you want to make sure that you map out exact steps that you need to do to get something accomplished, right? And one of the things that I love that we'll talk a little bit about later is chunking out your milestones, right? Breaking out the tasks that you need to do, chunking them out into very achievable goals and milestones for yourself so that you are more likely to accomplish the goal. Now, the other thing is sometimes we are simply overwhelmed because we have too many things going on. Now, this is me recently, right? There's so many different little things to do, so many different tasks and projects and launches that my brain literally, it gets so overwhelmed that I can't even do anything. It's like, dang, what should I work on first, right? It's so much to do that you don't even know what's work on first. And again, chunking out your goals, chunking out your milestones, getting a little bit done at a time is going to help you increase your productivity. But this is a common focus for people, is that they're just like, I don't even know what to do, or I got too much to do. And now they get that analysis by paralysis. All right, culprit number 3. This is one that I used to face a lot when I was heavily in bookkeeping, is difficult or tedious tasks, right? So research shows that if we are facing a very difficult or tedious task, that we are less likely to accomplish it, right? Why? Because it's tedious, right? We get bored. We're like, man, I really don't want to do this. I used to face this problem with bookkeeping, right? When I had several bookkeeping clients to do per month, I always typically waited to the last minute to do all the bookkeeping because I was so overwhelmed with just the tediousness of it, right? I just hated allocating all their transactions, right? Reconciling the bank statement. I hated it, right? And so for me, I would push it to the last minute. And sometimes the work would even be late because now I tried to save, 7+ clients and trying to do their bookkeeping at the same time. And now I'm spending, now I'm up into 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning towards, the beginning of the following month because I promised these people their books back by the 15th, right? Now I'm trying to hurry up and get everything done. So this is another thing that is prohibiting you from really getting all of your tasks completed because it just might be too tedious for you, right? The second thing is that difficult tasks are typically hard to start because again, it's kind of like that analysis by paralysis. You're like, holy moly, there is so much to do, or this thing is so big to complete that you don't even start. Or you might wait for the big task, a more difficult task, you actually might wait to do that at the last minute, and now you compromise the quality of the work, right? So this is one of the things, if you've ever been in this boat, this can be a huge productivity killer, and we'll talk about some solutions in just a second. Number 4, starting work too late. Starting work too late. This again is me. Listen, this whole training is for me, y'all. This is all me that I've done and that I'm still actively trying to overcome, right? So have you ever heard of the phrase, there just weren't enough hours in a day, right? I just didn't have time to do it. How many of you guys have said that? I didn't have enough time to do it. Typically, when you actually look at time, we did have enough time. Now, there are times when you just have a whole lot on your plate, right? I'm not talking about those times. But most times, we just didn't prioritize our time appropriately. And so what I found is that if you have very important projects that you're working on, but you're not starting it until 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 o'clock in the afternoon, well, now you're running into productivity issues, right? Or if you have projects that you have to do and you're like me and you're going to start it 3 days before it's due, obviously you're going to have productivity issues. So starting late is a huge culprit to a lot of people in their productivity and helping them get the tasks that they are set out to accomplish completed. So now I want to look at some solutions, right? We talk about all of these culprits, all the problems. Now I want to look at the solution to these problems. So solution number 1, next week, I want us to all work on limiting our distractions, right? So one of the things that I found on the iPhone just recently was that you can customize your do not disturb. So you can go to your settings, you go to your focus, and you can customize putting your phone on do not disturb, but in a certain way where certain people can still contact you. So for example, I have a personal do not disturb category. And if I click personal do not disturb, that means I don't want to hear no notifications from my phone unless it's my children, unless it's my daughter texting me or her father or their school. I don't want to hear no notification. And actually, I just recently put the school on there. The school wasn't on there. And then the school tried to contact me a few days ago because my son had like a headache or something. And I was like, oh, crap. I need to put the school on there too. So just FYI, guys, if you have on your do not disturb, make sure your kids or your kids' school or whoever keeps your children, sometimes when they're not with you, they're on your do disturb list, right? The iPhone will push them through. So what I do, I turn on my personal notifications so that I can stop receiving notifications from social media, notifications from all these different apps that are on my phone, notifications from Slack, right? My team, because I want to be able to just have focused, dedicated attention on the task that I'm working on. The second thing that I want you to try out, if you have a problem with this, is I want you to work somewhere quiet. So here's what I did. A few years ago, I told you guys I was in a transition. I lived with my aunt in her basement. And my aunt's home had like 8 other people in the house, right? She had adults and those adults' children, including me as an adult and my children, right? Everybody, when they fall on the hard luck, they go to my aunt's house, right? Because she has the biggest house. So I'm in the basement and I'm trying to work, and all these disturbances is happening, right? People are stomping, kids is running around, you know, the toilet is flushing, she's in the kitchen banging pots and pans, and I'm going crazy. And I'm trying it out. I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I go upstairs to the upper level, to the 3rd level, I can have less noise. No, it still was noise, right? But you could just hear everything in the house, okay? So what I did, once I started to make a little bit of money, I would spend that money on a local hotel, right? I would go to a local hotel. I think it was like a local extended stay, right? I like the extended stays because they have the stove and the refrigerators, right? I like the hotel rooms where you can cook stuff and you can have, your own things in there. So I would go to the extended stay. I was feeling like it was like $70 a night. And I would take my microphone and I would go there and I would just be in peace, right? I would stop, I would get all of my snacks and everything, and I would just work. When I couldn't afford that, I would go to the library, right? And I would even take my kids to the library and I would have them go to the kids section, they'll read some books, or they'll be in the little library rooms with me with their books that they picked out. And I would tell them, y'all need to be quiet because I gotta work and you need to read, and give me an hour and let me get this out. So make sure that you are in an environment in which you can actually focus. Sometimes our homes or wherever we live at might not be the best environment for us to get that focus that we need. The third thing that I would say is to be prepared, right? So for me, I got to have my water. I got to have my coffee. I even got to have something else to drink, like some bubbly, because I like a variety of things, while I'm working. I got to have my snack. I'm going to go to the bathroom, right? I'm going to make sure my area is clean. I got my calculator with me, right? Like be prepared to work, right? Where you're like, if your stomach start growling, you got a little snack that you can pull, or if you get a little parched or thirsty, you got some water or your drinks to pull. Like you want to make it comfortable for yourself. The other part of being prepared is that sometimes we need systems updated and we have to have like certain files ready. Make sure that if you're going to block out like, okay, for the next hour and a half, I just want to get this project done. If it's a bookkeeping job or it's a tax prep job, you want to make sure that you have all of the files that you need, right? All of your source documents. Being prepared is about what's in your physical environment and also what's on your computer, right? Having your computer and all your files ready. Because what you just want to work. You just want to execute and get the project done, whatever it is. It could be a tax client, a tax planning, a CFO client, tax resolution client. You want to have everything you need to just fire through where you're not being impeded in any way, right? So Zakiya says a change of scenery is correct. I had to leave the home sometimes setting. Absolutely. Sometimes you just got to go to the park, right? And do your bookkeeping, right? Janetta says sometimes you have to put to work to give them a task too, right? So about the kids, yes, Janetta, give the kids a task too. That's my favorite thing when we home and they start asking me too many questions. Listen, my daughter did that today. She's like, Mom, can I go get my nails done? I'm like, did you do your chores? Is the kitchen clean? Is your room clean? Did you get the trash out of your room? Did you pick your clothes up? And then she starts sinking away real slow. And I'm like, yeah, go do that. And then come back and ask me about your nails, right? So good luck, Janetta, on that. All right, so solution number 2 that I want us to work on is to tackle harder tasks first. Now, it can be really easy for us to tackle the easy stuff, right? Because it's easy. You're like, okay, I'm just going to knock this out. Sometimes that's not the best methodology to go with. You want to actually get the harder thing done first so that you can get that shot of dopamine and you can be like, oh my God, I can't believe I just got this completed, and you're going to be motivated. And also, if we're clear, guys, especially for me, like I can't speak for you guys, but when I have a big task, a hard task that I have to do, it's like a monkey on my back, right? I'm thinking about it all day, every day, right? It's like I can't even rest, right? Because I'm like, I still got to do this big thing. So I don't want you guys to live your days like this, because it's, you got this huge weight on your shoulders of getting this big job done. I want you to try to go and tackle it first. Get it done. Tell your team, whoever you're working with, tell your family, your kids, your spouse, to say, hey, I got this really big, hard task. I just need to knock it out. I'm gonna try to knock it out on a Saturday, right? Or I'm gonna try to knock it out this Monday. And I need no distractions. And I need your support in helping me get focused. The other thing with harder tasks is that you want to break it out into small milestones with specific due dates. So if I have like a big tax resolution job to do, I'm like, dang, this person has 8 years of taxes that we have to do. We got to call the IRS, release their garnishment. We have to pull their transcripts, right? It's like so much to do for this one client. What I do is I list all of those activities out. Like, what is everything that I have to do to get this client together, to get them off my docket, right? 2848, right? 8821, transcripts, everything. And then what I do is I put little due dates next to it. And I don't try to do everything all at once, right? Or even in a week. It's like, no, we're going to complete these 3 tasks by Friday. We're going to complete the next 3 to 4 tasks the week after that. We're going to complete the last 3 to 4 tasks the week after that. And this is why you want to give yourself some cushion, especially when you're telling them when you're going to have the work back. If I think it's going to take me 2 weeks, I give myself 4 weeks, sometimes 5 weeks, depending on, what's going on in your life. If you got travel or kids, you know what I'm saying? So what you want to do, you want to take those small chunks that make up your big task, your hard task, and break them out. And that's how you tackle something that's hard, something that's difficult, okay? The third solution, start work early. I'm just not getting back into this only because I recently just started working out with a personal trainer again. And on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, he wants me to come in at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. was his only time available, which was annoying because I don't like waking up that early no more, right? So what I found though, right, which was a pleasant surprise, was that after I train with him, right? So I train with him at 6. We're normally done by 7 a.m. I go home, I take a shower, I eat something. It's only 7:30, but now I got all of this energy. And what I've been finding is that starting my workday, 1 hour to 2 hours earlier, I'm actually able to get more done, right? And it's crazy. So I would say try to put little hacks like that, whether it's, having to meet somebody in the morning, maybe you meet somebody on Zoom, an accountability partner at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Maybe you start waking up at 5 a.m., whatever you have to do, but those extra 2 to 3 hours, like, listen, an extra 2 hours over the week, that's an extra 10 hours for the week, right? Extra 2 hours a day, that's extra 10 hours for the week. So you have an extra 10 to 15 hours, right? If you factor in 2 to 3 hours per day over the competition, right? Over other people. You got an extra 10 hours a week that you're able to get things done, to move your progress, to work on your goals, to tackle some difficult and complicated tasks. So going to bed early is going to help you wake up earlier. If you go to bed late, I'm sorry, it's going to be really hard for you to wake up early. So you do want to plan to go to bed early so that you can wake up earlier and you can accomplish more. Plus, you're going to have a clear mind when you do it. Now, solution number 4 is my favorite solution. Though some of the people that I work with, who work with me, might not think this is my favorite solution, but taking a break and relaxing, this is the last solution, right? There have been times when my body is just like, no, like you can't really do much today, right? You have to just relax. You have to just take a break. And those times is where I'll be laying in the bed, I'll get the kids off to school, I'll come back, I'll check a few emails, but then my mind and my body is just like, no, like not today. And I'll tell you, this week was one of those weeks. The reason why is because on Monday, I started working out with that personal trainer. And today I could barely walk, right? Because he literally, like, if you guys have lifted weights before, you know that it tears your muscles, right? So you're sore for the first couple of weeks. And so my body this week and my mind has just been so foggy. I'm like, ooh, like, in between calls, I got to take a break, right? I got to go like sit down on the couch somewhere and just breathe for a second. And that's okay. You want to listen to your body, you want to listen to your mind. And actually, research suggests that those who take more vacations and breaks are actually more productive. Research suggests that we only can stay focused for an hour and 30 minutes. So if you think about that, you should be taking some sort of 15-minute break every hour and a half. Because after an hour and a half, you probably aren't really focused anymore, right? You're working, but you're not really, you might not be working on productive things. Who here has been there? Maybe you like tinkering around with, something, right? You're like pulling up a lot of files, but you're not really doing anything, right? So after an hour and a half, our focus does dwindle. The other thing is research suggests, again, you take more vacations, you tend to be a lot more productive. And when I thought about this, I said, okay, how is that possible? Okay, well, one, you are more refreshed, right? A refreshed mind, you're able to focus a lot more than if you weren't refreshed, right? So one, you're more refreshed. Two, you're able to, I don't know about you, but whenever I take a vacation, I have to get like all these things done. I'm like, oh man, I want to have this completed before I go on this vacation. Anybody else felt like, have you felt like that before? And that for me, when I plan a vacation, I'm like, okay, before I go on this vacation, I want to have all of this done. Because when I'm on vacation, I don't want to have that monkey on my back, right? I don't want to be thinking about, all this work that is still waiting for me to come back. I like to clear my docket as much as I can. So that for me makes me more productive. So if I was to take at least one vacation a month, I'll probably be super productive just on that strength alone, just because I don't want to go on vacation leaving, a boatload of work to do. So factor your vacations, listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to when you actually just need to take a break and honor yourself, right? Honor yourself so you don't have, that burnout, right? You don't want to be burnt out. Okay, guys, what questions, what comments? Let's open it up to some questions, some comments, open discussion. Let me know. There might be some productivity hacks that you guys want to talk about, or maybe, what has been good for you, or, how you have succumbed to some of these issues that we talked about, like technology. But go ahead and raise your hand, and I want to have an open discussion, and also any questions that you have. So, you can ask me anything, whether it's about this, what we talked about, or anything else. You can ask me any question. All right, so let's go to Abraham. Abraham, you have your hand up. How are you?
Good. I felt like after the tax season, I felt like I hit the reset button. But I did have a question about the support calls for the enrolled agent exam. So I spoke to one of the people at Certifiable, and for some reason, you can only purchase the enrolled agent support calls on a Tuesday. Sorry, not on a Tuesday. Sorry. They can only support the support calls if you buy the Gold Platinum package. But the thing is, I don't really need it. So I told the person, one of the support staff for Certifiable, if I could purchase that separately.
We don't have that separately right now, but let me look into that. That's not something separate that we have right now.
Yeah, because
look into it.
No, because I have all the material, but I want to I kind of want to be on those support calls so I can go ahead and pass the exam.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, well, let me look into that, and then I will get back with you by next week.
Yeah, because I also thought it was a great idea too. Because like I said, I have the material, I have everything I need. The problem was last year, when I joined the program and I started doing all the marketing and studying, I failed it 3 times. So I really feel like I need the support to pass it again. So.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Well, give me until next Tuesday, and I will reach out to you, or one of the teammates will reach out to you, and we'll how we can get you in on those calls.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, Angie, you're up. Hey, Angie, what question or comment do you have?
Hello. Okay, well, my comment is more I just started this. I started putting myself on a timer. And so every time I do something, I'm like, no, I don't want to be distracted. I'm going to focus on this. And I will set my phone for 1 hour and I focus on that one thing for 1 hour. And if I finish early, I'll move to the next thing. But I make sure that I block out 1 hour of my time in order to get something accomplished because I was falling way behind on just doing things. So I had to basically just force myself to stop because a butterfly would take my attention before the work. So that's what I've been starting to do.
I love that. I love that. So blocking out an hour or so of your time and just setting your timer to see how much work you can kind of do in that time.
Yeah, see what I can do within that hour.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I you know what? I'm gonna try that, Angie, because you know what I do. That's terrible. I'll put on the show and I'll be like, I want to get this done by the time this show ends. And knowing dang go well that the show is the reason why I can't get it done. It's distracting me. But yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm gonna try that out. Thank you for sharing. All right, so I see Zakia. Hey, Zakia, what comment or question do you have?
Hey, it's more of a comment, and I can relate to, this talk about, I think with me, I get bursts of energy, I get pumped, I get motivated. And so, the first 1 or 2 days, I'm consistent, I'm reaching out to clients, doing what I'm supposed to do. And then after that, I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing this, or this task is too, tedious. I don't really want to do it. Then I get behind. I wait till the last minute to do bookkeeping. It's April the 28th and I have not done bookkeeping yet.
Yes.
For the 3 clients that I have. So, I guess I'm trying to figure out what, and then I think also I'm working full time and it does take, a lot of energy with that. And I did make the mental decision this month I want to eventually leave my job. I don't, I want to, because it's, I make suggestions on my job and I get frustrated that I told them this is what's going to happen. And I'm working more weekends on my job, and I have to think like, that's not my company. I can't, unfortunately. So I want to get out on my own, but I'm kind of like losing motivation sometimes from that. So if anyone have any suggestions that are in the same predicament that I'm in?
Oh yeah, I'm sure a lot of people do. So definitely raise your hand if you want to give Zakia some feedback on how you balance working your 9 to 5 and having your business. But I just wanted to ask you a question while we get some feedback up for you. Is so your schedule right now, you're working like pretty much Monday through Saturday with your work? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel you. So you're like, I don't even have enough time to put towards my business. Okay, so I see Janetta Katrina's hand just went up. Janetta, you got some feedback for Zakia?
Listen, sis, the struggle is real. Look, at least you can leave your 9 to 5. I'm still, attached for a while, but just put yourself on a schedule. So like even with the bookkeeping task, I did a whole separate calendar, like on my Google Calendar, and I have hit dates. So like every day, not really every day, but every week I have certain tasks that I have to complete for that week. So I'm not so overwhelmed at the end of the month. And then just even checking up behind the bookkeeper that I have, like I know, hey, these are the tasks that are supposed to get done, and I can go back and just know I have to only look at that for that week. So it's not so overwhelming. So like Crystal was saying, kind of breaking those tasks out because it can be exhausting. Like I work 18-hour days most days, and we're on call, so it's a lot. But you definitely have to just find a balance and find some time to just focus on one task at a time. You can't do everything, and then just make sure that your clients have expectation. Like I tell my clients that we're not meeting for the month before until like after the 15th. So they're basically like a month behind, but they're okay with that and they understand. So even if I don't get to it in that first week, that's my target week for those tasks, I still have another week of grace that I can, make up for if I had to come in on a Saturday or if I had to work late, 3 or 4 days, out of the week, so that you have some time to kind of be flexible. Even with the tax clients, I did the same thing. I'm like, internally, I wanted, 3 to 5 days, but I would tell them, hey, I get to see you next week or whatever the case might be. So I'm not so pressed.
I love that.
Yeah, that is like and sometimes I even work on Sundays. Like I work for a publicly traded company. I don't get to get holidays off or anything. And I guess it's a little bit of resentment, working for another company and I don't get, any holidays off. So I'm going to definitely do what you said and break it up throughout the month so I'm not so overwhelmed.
Yes.
Yeah, I can send me an email and I can send you the link. So basically, I took the one that Krista had, and then I just added some other little micro tasks in there, and I created just a whole nother Google Calendar just for bookkeeping. So I can share that with you if you want.
Yeah, I'll type my email in the chat.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Janetta. All right, Katrina. I know Katrina has some good feedback too.
Yeah, thanks, Krista. Zakaya. Yeah, so I think, I did it for a long time, juggling the two roles. I think the biggest thing is you do have to, I tried it every which way. I tried it calendar blocking. I tried everything, but I wouldn't see clients on Sunday, but I would work on Sunday. That would be my catch up day on most things. But the thing that helped me the most was actually hiring out the work. Because like the bookkeeping stuff could already be done. You just meet with the client. Like I was the face with the client, but a lot of the back end stuff I wasn't necessarily doing. I just always checked it. I'm like quality control, but that way you the stuff is done. You just need to. And I'm lazy about even checking stuff sometimes. So I'm like stuff is sitting there done, and I don't even feel like checking it because you're tired. I get it. And by the time you go home, especially you get a few hours to eat, sleep, and get back to it. It's just a lot. So, but what I will say about your job, plan your escape. Start planning your escape. How much do you really need to live on per month? How much are you spending to go to work? Because going to work every day, there is a cost. So how much are you spending for that? Start planning your exit. I just knock on wood and thank the Lord. I was just able to walk away from my job last week. Tuesday was my last day, but I didn't just up and quit. I had to plan that out over a year.
Yeah. Okay.
To make that happen, make sure that I need excess dollars in the bank, and here's the plan. I want to have X number of clients. So you just plan your exit. If you're working that hard for somebody else, imagine what you can do on your own.
Exactly, and that's why I'm resented and frustrated because I'm like, this is someone else's company. That's why.
And it's taking your own business because by the time you get to your own work, you don't even feel like doing it because you've already done somebody else's work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Katrina. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be like you.
Angie, you got some more feedback for Zakia?
Yes, I had some feedback for her because I haven't been working in over, well, as soon as COVID hit, I stopped working. But at the same time, again, yeah, plan yourself out. And both Janetta and Katrina, they said everything that you need to know, but it's more, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Speak to yourself, encourage yourself, because, hey, I'm a child of God. So God is for any and all things in my life and in my world, whether you like them or not. And so I encourage myself. I read his word every day. If I can carve out time to read his word, he's going to give me some time to work on my business. If I can carve out time to do what he asked me to do, he's going to carve out time for my business. So get to speaking to yourself. Speak it into you, speak it over you, and speak it for you. And you will accomplish the goal that you're trying to tackle, because things be happening and you'll be like, oh, I did this. Encourage yourself, speak to yourself, and speak over yourself. And you, next week, oh my God, I speak it on you right now in this very moment. By next week, not only you gonna have more clients, but you're gonna have less work because they're gonna start removing things from you.
Mhm. Let's go, Angie. Let's go. Speak it. I love it.
Into existence. Yes.
Yes, the positive self-talk. Yeah, like okay, let's get this done. We can do it. Get it knocked out. Yes, the positive self-talk does help a lot. Absolutely. All right. And Regina, hey Regina, did you have a question or a comment?
Well, I also have a comment because I feel the same way she does. I think I expressed myself with Lisa on our, I think it was on Monday. I felt very frustrated with the same way, working full time and trying to do this and I this thanks to you and your classes, my business really did grow. My clientele really grew this tax season. I did great. I did over 100 clients
Yes.
this tax season. So it was an achievement. However, I was dying. I mean, literally, when you say, Crystal, sweat and tears, I did sweat and tears. There was times that I broke down crying because I didn't think I was gonna make it, and I was ready to give up, and I didn't want to give up, so I was crying and frustrated. I did hire 2 or 3 people, and they didn't work out, and I was even more mad. It was a whole roller coaster. But I think my worst feeling that overwhelming was the guilt that I felt towards my family. I still have a 10-year-old. And my daughter, who's 18, is graduating high school now. As you already met her and talked to her. And my son, who's in college away, there was times where he would call at nighttime, and I'd be like, I can't talk to you. I'm with a client, and I couldn't talk to him. He felt some type of way about this business taking the time from them. My husband taking over certain things. My son, I couldn't go to my son's games certain times, and it really made me feel guilty that I couldn't make it to certain things. But at the same time, I self-talked to myself and I said, this is just a little sacrifice that we got to do right now because it's my first really year I'm going on business. Guys, help me out. I know I'm sacrificing my quality time with you guys, but it's only for 3 months. Only for 3 months, guys. Help me out. And I tried to do it that way. And I did push it. I made it. But the guilt that I felt through the whole time really killed me.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah. Well, one of the things, I totally feel you on that. And, one of my favorite mottos is short-term pain for long-term gain, right? Like you said, it was temporary. You rallied them up, you let them know, like, here's the big goal that we're going after. Here's why I'm doing this, and kind of get their buy-in, get their support. The other thing too is, that I had to do, because I felt the same way. And when I started my business, my kids was babies, right? My son was like 8 months old. My daughter was 3 or 4. So they needed a lot of support, a lot of attention. And one of the things that I started to do was put dedicated time on my calendar that was specific to them. So even though I couldn't, spend all week in their face and what I'm saying? We had our ritual, right? Either we were going to go to the park, we're going to have movie night, we was going to stop and get our snacks. And we had like this block of time, right? That it was like focused with them. So I would say definitely incorporate where you might not be able to make it to every, event or every function, but you have like this ritual that you guys do together, like this family time that you look forward to. Maybe it's seafood Sunday, right? Something, or maybe you play a game, or Taco Tuesday, where it's like, this is just our dedicated time that I'm gonna block out, because I can't be fully present every day this week. But we still made time, right? We still made time where they know that they are loved, they feel appreciated. And they have that support and those memories too to look forward to. And then you're going to feel better too, because it's going to be adult. Like, we need the love, like our kids need the love, our spouse need the love, but we also need the hugs and the kisses and the support. So it's also going to be a good thing for you too. So yeah, definitely incorporate that. Like get like a family ritual going on, where if you feel guilty, but it's like, at least we got this thing that I already blocked out time for, that we look forward to every week.
Yeah, definitely. One of
Yes.
the skills that I really want to master is your calendar. I'm doing
Yes.
your modules, and I show my daughter. I'm like, look at her calendar. She schedules her eating, her snacks, her water intake. Like that's my vision in my
Yes.
head. Like in my head, I just need to have it in a calendar now and
Yes.
execute it. But it's discipline. But
Yes.
I'm gonna master it. I'm gonna master it.
Yes.
Krista, I do have one question.
Uh-huh.
Do we get a one-on-one call with you at all with this program that we signed up, the T6 with you? Or because I don't think I ever, after I started with this, I never interchange any emails or anything, just basically these meetings that we have. But
Yeah,
not
so
sure.
Yeah, so with TA6, I have a new member call on every Monday, around it's either around 12 or 12:30. But it's a group call. So sometimes it's only 2 people on there, sometimes it's 4 or 5, depending on how many people joined the prior week. But if you haven't come to that call, those calls are really great to where we can kind of dive deep on kind of like your marketing and your goals for the year. So if you haven't had a new member call, yes, that's in the program. You would see it in the first module. It says something like book your new member call. Have you had one of those before?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay. Yeah. If you guys have it, definitely book a new member call for sure. Even if you already been around for a few months. Or if you kind of like are rejoining, definitely book a new member call so we can kind of get back acclimated with, your goals for the year and what all you want to accomplish.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the EA. This year I have to do the EA.
Yes, yes. Awesome. Well, congratulations, Regina. I'm excited for you. I'm excited what you're going to continue to do. You crushed it this tax season. You pulled through, and I'm excited to see what you're going to do for the rest of the year. All
Thank
right.
you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. Janetta, I see your hand back up. You have a question or a comment?
No, I was just gonna encourage Regina. But about the kids, I only have one, but sometimes you just have to involve them and be transparent with them. Like my daughter, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, she counts all my coins now. So she's like, how many calls you got today? Okay, now how much do we make? She on Onboardable looking at the revenue made. So she's like, okay, do you have another call? Because I got to get my hair done. I need to do this. So she's trying to involve herself a little bit, even though she's older. She's involving herself more now, and she see like how much money I'm paying the bookkeeper. So she's like, Mom, can I do that? I think I can learn that. So, sometimes you just got to give them little tasks and let them know that it's our business, not just my business, so that they can feel empowered as well with what you have going on.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Janetta. Yes. Well, our daughters sound very similar. I'm sure that they'll hit it off. Amazing. Are you bringing your baby? Are you coming to the summit later this year?
Yeah, she's coming again.
Okay, cool. I'm going to have my daughter too. How old is your baby?
She's 15.
Oh, perfect. Okay. My daughter's 14, but she's like 25 with her personality.
Right, going on 30.
Right.
Listen, she's like, I got to get this work, Mom. I'm like, okay, well,
Yes.
make yourself available.
Yes. Same way. My daughter be like, I can do that for you. I can do that. I'm like, okay, miss, I can do it. Come over here.
Exactly. Look, she done got an Upwork and seeing the invoice getting paid out.
They get motivated. Like, okay. We all know you're gonna get paid as much as we pay these people, but we can work something out. All right, guys. Any other last minute questions or comments that you have? All right. Okay, guys. Well, awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing how next week goes. Try to implement some of these activities in your next week calendar or whenever you get back to work calendar and see if it helps. And let's stay connected in the Facebook group and let me know how it worked out for you guys. Have a beautiful